Good morning and good afternoon to all the participants who have joined. Thank you so much for joining this session. I'll give you a small introduction about myself. I am Amir Siddiqui. I work as a data scientist at T-Systems. I am from India. I have over 10 years of experience in data science. And I also have a YouTube channel where I make videos about data science, and right now I am making these tutorials about LLMs, these large language models and the different frameworks like LangChain and Llama Index. So you can also subscribe to my YouTube channel for learning more about the data science. And then talking about the today's session, so the agenda of this today's session is document Q&A using LangChain. And LangChain is a framework that can be used to build large language models. So these are going to be the contents of this tutorial, where we are going to cover these different topics. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask me anytime. So we will see two important things here, or I would rather say three important things. The first one is we will understand what is LLMs or large language models, what is LangChain, a framework that can be used, and RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation. This is a technique that we are going to use in this tutorial to get answers from our documents. And after watching this tutorial, you will be able to create your own document Q&A within no time. You can use the same code that I have used in the Jupyter Notebook, and you can use your custom data set or your documents where you can do the same activity and get answers. So first, let's try to understand LLM, or maybe many of you are already aware of LLM is large language models. And these are advanced AI models. It is developed on all the data set that is available in public domain, and it can generate text like humans, like how we generate text. And they are developed using deep learning techniques. They are capable of learning from vast amounts of text data. So whatever text data that you have, you can send those data as an input, and the model will learn based on that text data. And the examples of some large language models are GPT, GPT-3, GPT-4, which we commonly use. So we commonly use this ChatGPT. ChatGPT is an application. OpenAI is an organization. And we use GPT 3.5, which is available for free for all the public. So when we are using this GPT application, it makes a call to OpenAI, where this GPT 3.5 model is hosted, and we use that model to get answers to our question. It is one of the most famous one that everyone is using. Then we also have some open source. So GPT, this is not free one. So what we use is free, but if you go for GPT-4, that is not free. And even if you want to use GPT 3.5 to create your own RAG, or to get answers from your documents, or to create this document Q&A, you will have to pay for that. So there is an API that you have to get the subscription. But there is an alternative where we have Hugging Face, which is totally free. There you don't have to pay for anything. You can use some of the famous LLM models like Mixtral. Then there are some from Google that you can use it from Hugging Face for free. So this is LLM in short. And then talking about LangChain. So if you are familiar with machine learning, So when you want to develop a machine learning model in Python, you use something called as scikit-learn. When you want to create neural networks or deep learning models, you use something called TensorFlow or PyTorch. Similarly, when you want to create these LLM models, there is a framework called LangChain, and there is one more framework which is Llama Index. So these two are the same. These two are the frameworks that are similar to what we have, like scikit-learn, which is for machine learning, TensorFlow and PyTorch, that is for deep learning, and LangChain and Llama Index, they are for LLM. So whenever you want to make any application that uses LLM, you will either go with LangChain or Llama Index. And these two are open source. They are free. They can use this. You can use this framework to develop your customized LLM models, or you can create your chatbots or any application that uses LLM in the backend. And LangChain has some features. So if you look at this architecture of this LangChain, so we have something LangSmith, LangServe templates. So these are the things generally we don't use it when we start learning LangChain. We have to focus on these areas. So in LangChain, we have something called as chains. Then we have agents and retrieval strategies. And also we have, if we go to the community level, we have this model input output, retrieval, agent tooling. So chains is nothing but when you are creating your code and when you are writing your questions, so you want to combine those questions. So chains are just like a pipeline, ETL pipeline or ETL pipeline. So where you will define all the steps and pass those steps in a chain. So instead of calling all those functions separately, you can just call this chain function and all the steps will be executed step by steps. So it makes your work easier. Then we have these agents. So agents are a very special kind of function that is provided by LangChain, where you can use APIs to get our work done in few lines of code. So there are some websites like Fireworks and other websites from where we can use their APIs, and those are free. And we can pass those API and create an agent, and then we can ask any question to this agent, and we will get the answers from these different websites. So these are some of the important points in LangChain that helps you in creating your own custom LLM application, not just the document Q&A that we are seeing, but anything that you want to create using this LLM models. Now, if I go to this next slide, and I'll give you the overview of this document Q&A. Q&A is question and answering. That means we are going to ask question and our LLM model will give us answer from the document that we upload. So whatever document you have, maybe you have some PDF file, you have a book, you have a PDF of a book that you want to read, or you have already read that book, but you don't know on which page or what topic is there. So you can pass this PDF book and then write the question, and from that book you will get the answer. So this is part of document Q&A, where you can pass any PDF file, any text file, any online websites. And here we will see one of the online website from Egypt, where we will ask some information about tourist places, a visa, and etc. So we can use this to use our custom models or use our custom models and custom documents to get answers to our question. Now, there are two techniques available to create our custom LLM. The first one is RAG. RAG is nothing but Retrieval Augmented Generation, and the other one is fine tuning. So the difference between the two is that or we can see in next slide the difference between the two. But you can remember there are two techniques. One is RAG and the second one is fine tuning. And in document Q&A, that is document question and answering, we will be using this RAG technique. And I will also tell you later why we are using RAG, why not fine tuning. So what happens is whatever LLM models that we have, for example, this GPT 3.5 and Mixtral, Gemini, so they are trained on public data set. They are trained on huge amount of data set. Whatever is available on internet in public domain, they are trained on those data set. But as an individual or as an organization, you want to use your own data set where you can ask questions or where you can chat with your data or where you can generate some text from your data. So how you can do that? Because the model that is available in public domain, they are trained on public data set. So here comes the technique of RAG and fine tuning, where you will pass your own data set and your model will be using your data set to get the questions or to generate text or to chat with your data. So this is the importance of RAG, where you will be using your own documents. Now, what are the use cases of RAG? So there are many use cases, and these are the three that I would like to highlight here. The first one is question and answer chatbots. So you will provide your custom documents to your RAG, and based on the document, you can ask question and you will get answers to your questions. The second one is search augmentation. So when you are searching something online, or you want to fine tune that search where you want to get some better results for your search. So there also you can use the technique of RAG that will help you get relevant answers to your question. The next one is knowledge engine, ask questions on your data. So the first one is about chatbot, where a chatbot will answer. And this third point, knowledge engine, is where you can ask question and the LLM model will generate answers for you. Here, the role of chatbot will be not there. You will just do the question answer yourself. These are some of the most popular use cases of RAG, and there are many other use cases. What are the benefits of RAG? So why should we use it? As I've already mentioned that one of the reasons is that we want to use our custom data set, not the public data set. So we want to get the questions from our own document. So some of the benefits are it will provide you up-to-date and accurate response. Now, what does it mean? So if you have observed that if you ask any question in ChatGPT, that is relevant or that is from 2023 or 24, you will get an output that, sorry, the model has only information till January 2022. So that model has information only till the year January 2022, not from the events of 2023 and 24. So the benefit of RAG is that we can get the information from the year 2023 and 2024 as well. The next one is provide domain-specific relevant responses. Now you have a company, your company works in a particular domain, maybe finance, retail, or education, or any other domain. So you don't want a model that can give you a generalized answer. That is, the model will tell you about countries, continents, holiday destination, or maybe about politics, movies. You don't want a model that will give you generalized result, because that model will use different parameters and that will be not focused to a particular domain, but to all the domains. But you want to make a model that will focus only on the domain that you are interested in, maybe your finance, insurance, or retail. So in that case, you can use RAG and you can provide the data set of a specific domain so that your LLM will be expertise in that particular domain only, not in general. The third one is being efficient and cost effective. So to create a RAG, you don't have to pay anything. You don't have to do anything. You can use, as I've said, you can use API from Hugging Face, and you can just start building your LLM models using RAG right from any point of time. So these are the benefits of RAG. Now, as I said earlier, there are two methods. One is RAG, and the second is fine-tuning the model to create your custom document question and answer. So you must be wondering when we should use RAG and when we should fine-tune the model. So you should use RAG when you want to get your results in a faster way, in an easier way. Because in RAG, you don't have to retrain a model that is publicly available. And in fine-tune, what happened is we have this GPT 3.5 model. Now we will need to fine-tune this model. We will have to provide our own data set. And as you know that the size of these models are huge. They are 10 GB, 15 GB, 50 GB. The size is pretty large. So now if you want to fine-tune a model, you should have a machine which has around 16 GB of RAM, 1 TB of memory, a good processor, a good graphics card. So fine-tuning is costly. It is not easy. It will take a lot of time. But when you are using RAG, you just have to use API keys. You make a call to the API keys and you get your model, and you get your answers from the model that is already available, but to your custom data set. So the difference is here, when you are using RAG, you will make use of API keys. You will make a call to the APIs and you can use those models and get answers. And for fine tuning, you should have a good machine where you should have some 16 GB of RAM, good graphics card, CPU, and so on. So this is the difference between the two. Now, this image I have taken from Databricks. So I found this image very interesting and also very helpful to share with you all. So on the left-hand side, you will see that we have this columns here. So this is method. Then the definition of this method, the use case for this method, whether the data is required or not, what are the advantages, and what are the considerations that you can take when you are using these methods. So first one is prompt engineering. So prompt engineering is nothing but you have to write a good prompt. Prompt is nothing but what, so when you are using this chat GPT, you are writing question. So whatever question you are writing is your prompt. So prompt engineering is a technique where you learn how to write good questions to get good answers. So we all use ChatGPT, and whatever comes in our mind or whatever thoughts we have, we just go and type and we get answers. Sometimes we think that the answer is not relevant. And the reason is because we don't know how to write a good question. So to write a good question is prompt engineering. You should write a good prompt, and when you write a good prompt, you get good results to your questions. The second one is RAG that we are going to see here. So RAG, what happens? We already have this LLM model from ChatGPT or Mixtral. So and they are trained on this public data set. So we extend the functionality of that model by providing our custom data set and get the questions and answers from that model. So it is a combination of both public data set and our custom data set. Then there comes the fine tuning, where we have to pre-train an LLM to a specific data set or domain. So we have our own data set or some domain specific data set that we want to train, but it will require a lot of cost for you to get some good machine and configuration. So that is fine tuning, and the last one is pre-training. That means you can create your own LLM from scratch. So instead of this using the GPT 3.5 or Mixtral or Gemini AI, you can create your own LLM model from scratch. And this is going to be even more difficult because you also need to get the data set. So you will have to collect a large amount of data sets. What we see in this LLM models are they are using 7 billion parameters and so on. So there are so many data sets and there are so many processes that is going behind making this great LLM models that we are using in our day-to-day life. So that is the part of pre-training. And these are the different things that you can remember. Now, how this RAG works, we need to understand the architecture so that we can use this RAG to create our document question and answering. So it has two important components or two main points. The first one is indexing. So indexing is nothing but if you have used SQL and if you know that if you want to query in SQL and you want to make it faster, so in that case we do the indexing. That is, we provide some numbers to the rows, so it becomes easier for us to query the data set and we get the information relatively in a faster way if we are not doing indexing. So the first one is we have to provide our document and create indexes. So that is the first point. Second one is retrieval and generation. So once we create this index, we have to retrieve, and that we will see in next slide and also in our notebook what is meant by retrieval. So when we create indexes, we have our documents split into different numbers. And when we retrieve it, so when we write a question, let's say you write a question, what is LangChain? So it will go to that a database. It will find on which row the information regarding what is LangChain is written, and it will only get those relevant documents from the database. So that is nothing but retrieval. And then generation is when it will generate text for you, or it will generate an answer for you from that retrieved document. We will see later, and this will become even more clear for you. And this is also a very good architecture that I found on Databricks recently after preparing this PPT. So this might not be available in the shared one. So it is a good one. And here all the steps are given. So if you see here, there are 4 steps in general. So the first one is data preparation. That means you can use any data set, whether it is a PDF file, text file, online document, Word, PPT, etc. So first we have to get our data set. The second one is we have to index our data set. Indexing is nothing but we have to give numbers to our documents. And that is done by creating chunks. So we will see what is chunk in practical when we go to the Jupyter Notebook. So when we create chunks, we create an index. And then once we have these chunks, so chunks, if I tell you in an easier way, so chunks is you have a sentence. If I go back and take an example. So yeah, let's say you have this text and this is one paragraph. These are not into different. For now, you consider that this is in one paragraph. Now, when we do the index and when we chunk this, so what we do, we will break this text into different paragraphs. So instead of one paragraph, now we will have this 4 paragraphs. You see here 1, 2, 3, and 4. So when we ask question to our LLM, it will go and it will see in which point number the question has an answer. So out of 4, it sees that the actual answer lies in point number 3. So it will get, or it will retrieve only point number 3. And once it has this point number 3, now comes the generation part. From this point number 3, it will generate the answer. So that is retrieval to get the sentence or get the line where the actual answer lies. And once it finds that relevant chunk or relevant line, then it will generate answer from that relevant line or relevant sentence. So that is retrieval and generation. And then the last one is we ask our question. So here they have given an example. So the question that this person has asked is, how can I track Databricks billing? And then on the basis of that, the answer will be generated and this person will get the relevant answer. So we have these 4 steps. First, you have to get your data. Second, you have to create index of that data by creating chunks. Third, when you write a question, it will find a relevant chunk where your answer lies. And then fourth, it will generate answer from that chunk. And this we will see in practical later. Now, indexing, we can even go in more detail about indexing because it is the most important part. And here also we have this similar architecture here. That is, we are loading this our files. It can be in any format. Then we are splitting that information into different pieces. So instead of having all the information in one file, we are splitting that into different pieces. And then the next part comes embedding. So embedding is important and embedding is very easy to understand. You must be aware that machine learning models, they don't understand text. If you pass anything in string, it will not understand. You have to pass something in number only. So when we have our text document, we create a number for each word, and that number is known as embedding. And then that number is passed to the model on which the model is trained or from where we get the answer. So that is embedding. That is when you convert a text into a number, that is embedding process. So first we load our document. Then we split that document into various pieces. We don't keep it into one separate document. We create chunks. So when we split the documents, we are creating chunks. And after creating chunks, we will create embeddings of that chunks. So we will get numbers for whatever information we have in those different chunks. And then we have this embedding. Now there is something called as we have this vector store, or we also have a database vector ChromaDB. So you know SQL. In SQL, what we do, we save relational database information. That is, we save tables where we have columns and rows. Similarly, when you want to save embeddings, you will use vector database, something like ChromaDB, or there are many vector database available. You can get the list, but ChromaDB is a free one, so you can use it. And why we save this embeddings in this vector database? Because to create embeddings, you have to make a call to the API. And when you are making a call to Open API, you will be paying for that. So every time you make a call to create embeddings, you will have to pay. So instead of creating or instead of making calls to the API every time, you make a call once, you get the embeddings, you save it in ChromaDB, and next time when you want to use these same embeddings, you can just directly load those embeddings from ChromaDB instead of making once again a call to API and paying for that. So that is where this database comes. Now retrieval and generation. So it has 2 steps. Once you have these chunks where you have relevant information. So when you write a question, then it will go and search for all the chunks and see in which chunk the relevant answer or the actual answer is present. It will get that chunk and then it will generate answer from that chunk. So that is retrieval and generation. So far, I hope you got this overview of architecture, how it works. You have to prepare your data set. You have to create index. Index is created using chunks. And once you have these chunks, you create embeddings. Once you have embeddings, then you will write a question. When you write a question, you will be going to retrieval and generation. That is, it will retrieve relevant chunks for you. And from that chunks, you will get an answer, that is generation. So what we have seen so far is theory. And now let's go in our Jupyter Notebook and see how it works in code. And it's very easy. Now I'll open this one. So I have shared this Jupyter Notebook with all of you. There are no changes in this one. So this is as it is, what I have shared with all of you. So I'll explain you what functions I have used here and why I have used this function. The first one is import get pass, and the second is import OS. OS is nothing but it is about operating system module. Get pass is when we get our API keys, we want to hide that key. We do not want any other person to use our keys. The reason is because these keys are used to call a model, and these are paid one. So if someone else takes your API keys, you have purchased that, or you have joined, you have linked your credit card to that API key. So someone will start making queries using those APIs key, and the billing will come to you. So that is the reason we should never expose our API keys to anyone. Otherwise, they will use it and all the billings will come in your name. So, and if you think that at some point that your API key is revealed to someone, just go and delete that API key and create a new one. And you should always delete your API keys after 15 days or 1 month to make sure that it is not in someone else's hand. So first we are importing these two functions. This get pass will hide our API keys. So when I call this os.environment to set the environment variable, I will pass my API keys here that will get hidden. What you see here in dots are nothing but the API keys that I have used. And the API keys that I have used are from LangChain. So this is my account, and these are the API keys that I am using. So here if you see access token, and these are hidden. As I've said that we should never reveal our API keys to anyone. That is why these keys are hidden here. If I want to use it, I will just click on this copy and then I can use it. So I'll go back here. First, we have to set our API keys, and Hugging Face, we are using this here because it is free. If you want to use Open API, then you will have to pay. You will have to use your credit card. But if you want to use Hugging API, it is totally free. You can create this document Q&A using LangChain for free. Now, the next one is we have to use LLM model Mixwell. So this is also available in LangChain. If I come here, you see that this is the link of the model here. It uses 7 billion parameters. It is one of the very famous model, and it gives you a very good result. So if you don't have these OpenAI keys, you should try this one. The result of this model is as good as GPT 3.5. So it is one of the great model which is available for free and you can use it. So I'm using that model here. And then this is an argument temperature. The value of this argument lies between 0 and 1, 0 being the low, 1 being the high, 0.5 is medium. And what is the use of this value? So when you are asking question to your model, based on this value, you will get your answer. So if your value is here, for example, it is 0.1. So this model will give you some random answer. So you will get the answer from your document, but it will try to make it more fancy. So the answer might not be very relevant. it can become random. So it introduces randomness to your answer. And when you make it 0, it will just give you the output as it is, whatever is present in your document. And when you make it 0.5, it is a balance between a good answer and a randomness that is introduced in this answer. So you can always try to use 0.5, where you can have some randomness also, where your model can try to generate some text, maybe based on some other information, but from your document only. And if you want to get the information which is same as it in your document, then just make it 0. But I would prefer to use 0.5, which will give me a better answer. I think that. Now, the second part is, so first we create this LLM. Now this model, this Mixwell is stored in this LLM. I can use this LLM to generate text now. The second part is I need to get a document from where I want to ask question and get answer. So I have used this online website, Wikitravel. So if I go here and show you, I see this bar. So this is a website. Let me copy it in a new tab. Okay. And so this is the website that I am using here for this tutorial purpose. It is taking time to load. Yeah. So this is the website that I'm using, and it has information about Egypt, history, climate, holidays, and other information about destinations, how you can get into Egypt, and so on. So there are so many information available on this website. We are going to ask some question to our LLM model, and we will get answer from this websites. So let me close this one. I'll go back here. So now what I'm doing here, I'm loading the content from this website. You can either load online content, your PDF file, your text file, or any other file. So to load it, I'm using this function, web-based loader. And once it is loaded, you see all the information here. So this is all the information that is available on that website. Now there is something called metadata. Metadata is where you get information about the document. So if you want to know from where this document is coming, so you can use this function metadata. So it says that the source of this document is this wikitravel.org, and then the title is Egypt Wikitravel description. So we have this description here. So in metadata, you get information about the document that you are using here. Now the third point here is we are creating chunks that I was speaking about, indexing or chunks. So here we are creating these chunks. So there are different methods to create chunks. One of them is this recursive character text splitter. So here you have to define what is the chunk size. So now what is chunk size? So if you see here, we have document here, and this is one entire paragraph. Now what we are doing here is we are saying that after every 500 words, split this document and create a new paragraph. So instead of this one paragraph where we have all the information, we want to break it after every 500 points or every 500 words. So now instead of one document, we will have several documents. So that is what we are telling here. And chunk overlap is the next parameter where we are saying that two chunks can have same information. Same information is, for example, you are splitting one document, and then you can have some 2 or 3 lines of the information from that one document to the other document as well. So that is chunk overlap, and you can give some numbers here. So this number is also not the fixed one. You can try different numbers, maybe 1000, 1500, or even less. It depends upon your document size. If your document is huge, then you can give big number here. Then it will create chunks for us, and it will save those chunks in this variable splits. So once we have these chunks, now we have to create embeddings. So embedding is, we want to convert this text into numbers, because as I've said that these machine learning or LLM or deep learning models, they do not understand text, they need numbers. So here in this next step, we are converting this text into numbers, and that is known as embeddings. There are different embeddings. So we also have embeddings from OpenAI, but they are paid one. And if you're using embeddings from Hugging Face, they are totally for free. So that is why here I am using Hugging Face embeddings to use it for free. Now, as I said, once we have this embeddings, we can save this embedding so that next time we do not have to do this entire process again. We don't have to call our API. And if you're using Open API, so it will ask you to pay. But for Hugging Face, you can use it again and again. But to avoid that, you will use this ChromaDB, where you will save these embeddings that you have created. So here we are defining the place where we want to save this embedding. So this is a folder. Inside this also there is a folder Chroma, and inside this it will save all the embeddings. So here I'm calling this from documents, and then I'm passing here chunks. Chunks are saved in the split variable. Then embeddings is this embedding function, and the place where I want to save it, this is the place where I want to save this embeddings. And once the embeddings are created, I will call the method persist on this vector DB, and it will save all the embeddings in this place. And then you can look at the collection, how many collections are created in this embedding. So it says 496. Now, once you have done your document loading, creating chunks, embedding, saving embeddings, now comes your question and answer part. So my first question that I'm going to ask is, what are the types of Egyptian visa? I want to understand what are the different types of visa offered by Egypt, because I want to go and explore, and I would like to know the visa types, their duration, and whatever information is available on this website about visa. So I have asked a question, what are the types of Egyptian visa? And then I am calling a function similarity search. So you have to use this function similarity search. And here I am passing this variable question. And here we have one parameter, k is equal to 3. So you must be thinking, what is k is equal to 3? So I am saying that when you are looking for answers in this document or on this website, just get the 3 relevant answer or the 3 chunks where the relevant or the actual answer are present. Out of those 3 chunks, just return me the first one where the actual answer is present. So you can change its size to 1 or maybe 5 or maybe 10. But if you make it 5 or 10, then you will have the correct answer in your chunk 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The answer will not be relevant. So keep it small so that you will get your relevant answers. Now, what I have done here, I've called the similarity search, and now I have 3 documents that I have extracted from this website where the actual answer is present. And now you can see here, this is the first document. This is the second one. And this is the third one. So these are the 3 documents you see here, document, this one, this document, and this document. Now, these are the 3 documents where the actual answer is present according to this similarity search. And from this, I will print the answer from this first document, and what I get here in the answer is that So it says that the question was, what are the types of Egyptian visa? Now it says first, tourist visa, usually valid for a period not exceeding 3 months and granted on either a single or multiple entry basis. Then the second visa is this /_ is new line. Then this is the second one. The second visa is entry visa, required for any foreign arriving in Egypt for purpose other than tourism, example, work, study, etc. The possession of a valid entry visa is needed to complete the residence procedure in Egypt. And this is the third one, transit visa, rarely needed and only for certain nationalities. And then we have something here, only obtain a visa through the official Egyptian government website. So now if I go to this website and I will try to find out, do we really have something like this information there? So if I come here, I'll just go to the part where it is talking about visa. Yeah, so here you see, we have this section get in, and here we have these visa here. So as a major tourist destination whose economy is dependent upon tourist money, Egypt is relatively easy to enter or obtain visas for. If necessary, there are three types of Egyptian visa. First is tourist visa, entry visa, and transit visa. And we see that we got the exact answer when we asked this question here. So we have this tourist visa, then we have this entry visa, and then we have this transit visa. So we got the exact answer here. And this was one of the way to get the answer using this similarity search. The other function that you can use is retriever, where you will call this as _ retriever function. And then you will use a method called as invoke. And I have passed the same question here. What are the types of Egyptian visa? But here you will see I got the answer in a good format where it is easy to understand. So if you compare it with the first information or the first answer, it is much easier. It says that first is tourist visa, second is entry visa, and the third one is transit visa. So the answer here you will see is in a nice format. And then there is also one more way where you can ask the same question, but your answer will be even more relevant and you will get more answer than what you have got in these two steps here. So that is retrieval QA. So from LangChain, you will import this retrieval QA. And then it also has one parameter, which is return source document. So this will also tell you from where it got this answer. What is the source? How you can believe that this is the correct information. So it will also give you the source in the output. So now I will use this QA chain here. Again, I have passed the same question. What are the types of Egyptian visa? Then I have called this QA chain, this here. Then in query, I have passed this question here, and then I have done the printing of this result. And this is a warning message that you can ignore. It is about the updation of this LangChain package. Now, if you see here, we have this output. So it says, use the following pieces of context to answer the question at the end. If you don't know the answer, just say that you don't know. Don't try to make up an answer. So if the if this document doesn't have the answer, it will not give you any random thing. It will print and it will say that you don't know. So it will not give you any random answer. So this is one of the good thing. So you cannot type anything here. You cannot type here what are the types of some other country visa, because that website has no information about other country. That website is dedicated to Egypt. And in that case, you will get something like the model doesn't know the answer. And then apart from the answer, so you get this answer here. So this looks same, and even this looks same. And you get some more information here. Citizens of the following countries can obtain visa upon arrival at any of the Egyptian ports of entry. So what additional information here you are getting is, for the citizen coming from these countries, they can get the visa upon arrival. That means they don't have to apply for visa when they are in their own country. They can come to Egypt, go to the airport, and there will be some dedicated section where they will show their passport of their country. And these are those countries, though they provide visa on arrival. So people from this country can go to the airport, show their passport, and get the visa. They don't have to do any document work at their home. And this one is also repeated. So these two are repeated, but this is an additional information that we got from the earlier one. And now in the end, it says that it prints our actual question. What are the types of Egyptian visa? And it says that this is the helpful answer that you are looking for. And here it prints the answer in even a better way. So far, what we are getting is, we are printing this just as it is: tourist visa, entry visa, transit visa. But here it says there are 3 types of Egyptian visa. This sentence we have not seen before. So it is also describing, it is also categorizing these visas into different types. And it says that there are 3 different types of Egyptian visa: tourist visa, entry visa, and transit visa. Then it is giving description about this visa. Tourist visa is valid for a period not exceeding 3 months and granted on either a single or multiple entry basis. Entry visa is required for any foreigner arriving in Egypt for purpose other than tourism, example, work, study, etc. The possession of valid entry visa is needed to complete the resident procedure in Egypt. And it completes its answer here. So you see that the answer we get here is much better. It is explaining everything, and it is also describing what are the types of visa available. And then from this one, so we have saved the answer in this variable result. And as this parameter is part, return source document. Now we want to get the source from where this model got the answer, whether it is true, whether the answer is correct or not. We want to know the source. We cannot trust on this model without any source. So we will print here result and source document. Now it will give us the source from where it is getting this information. So this is the information. You see here source. So it says that it got the answer from this website. And the website URL is this one, and the title is Egypt Wiki Travel. So you can now trust this answer because you got the source here. So you can go to this website, that is this same website, and the title is Egypt Wiki Travel. You see here title Egypt Wiki Travel. So you can trust this model and you can rely on this one. So this is the one question, but you can go on this website and you can ask any other question. Maybe I will ask question about these cities. So let me try to change this question here and see if I can show you practically here. So what are the, yeah, I will just make here, what are the cities in Egypt? And let's see if we are getting some good answers or not. So let's try with, let me copy this from here. First, we will check this one. Similarity search. I will execute this code. Okay, now I will print this document. So I got these 3 documents here. This is the first one, this second one, and this is the third one. Now let us see what we have in document 1, that is this one. In this one, we will see what are the cities. So I'm writing document 0 page content, and I will run this. So we get a city is here, Cairo, the capital of Egypt. Then we have, are we getting, so we have this Port Said, Egypt's third largest city. Then we have Aswan, a more relaxed option. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it incorrectly. So let's see what are the cities here. So we have Cairo, Port Said, and Aswan. So these three we got here in this output. And I think the other one we have, okay, we have this Alexandria as well. The fourth one, so this one, these two we are not seeing in the output. So let's go to the next one, this invoke, where we are using retriever and see if we are getting more information here. I will execute this one. Okay, so here we are getting Cairo, Alexandria, Port Said, and Aswan. 1, 2, 3, and 4 cities. And here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So these here we have 6, and here we are getting only 4. Now let's try this one. How many cities we are getting here? And I have to change the question also. Let me change the question here. So this can take some time. Okay, we got the answer here. Now let's see. Okay, first I will go to the last one because I want to see what cities it is giving us. So it is also giving us these Cairo, Alexandria, Port Said, and Aswan. And apart from that, what other information we are getting is, let's start from here. So we have these cities here, the description, and this is same. Now we have this extra information that we are getting. Then these are the headlines that we have on this website: history, climate, holidays. Then these are also the headlines. So we are getting only these cities here, not all the cities here. And if I want to print the source, so I should get the same source here. This is the source. Now, when you see that you are not getting all the information, you can go here and change the parameter of this temperature. Excuse me. And there are also other parameters. So if I check here, so there are these different parameters. This is also model quarks. You can also use these parameters to pass other arguments to get better results to your answer. So when you see that when you are not getting the when you're not getting exact answer and when you're not getting all the answers, then you can come and just change the argument of this parameter, and then you can again run all these steps. Okay, and also you can change this chunk size. So what we have chunk size now is 500. If I change it to 1000, see what will be the impact. So let me run this again. So what I am doing here is I am changing the chunk size, and let's see if we get some other answer or more information. So I've just changed the chunk size and just wait for a minute to complete running these lines of code. So it will save this indexing or embeddings here, and then it will go to the next line. It can take some time, maybe 2-3 minutes. So this is all I wanted to show you about this document Q&A, where you can create your own custom document Q&A using this LangChain framework. And now I welcome all the questions that you have, and I would be very happy to answer your questions. And if you have any doubts also, I can answer that. And in the meantime, this code will also run, and we can check the output before we close this call. So please feel free to ask any questions you have. Yeah, so now before that, I'll just tell you, we got more cities here. So we have Cairo, Alexandria, Port Said, Aswan, Lakshya. I don't know how to pronounce this one. So this time we got all the cities names here. So you see that when we change the chunk size, so when we increase the chunk size from 5,000 to 1,000, we got all the cities names here. So these are all the cities names that we were not getting earlier. So you know how this chunk size affects your output of the model. So there is no ideal chunk size. You have to play around with this number and see which chunk size is giving you better result. So this is all about this document Q&A, and please feel free to ask any question. I am very happy to help and answer you. One of the questions I see is, can we use Meta AI Instant? Yes, we can use that Meta AI Instant. There are many other options available. You can use that as well, and you can even use this one. Anyone has any other question, please ask. I would like the host to ask the participants to feel free to talk and ask questions. Yes, Ahmed, please go ahead and ask question. Nobody is asking any question. Nobody has any doubt. I hope you all can hear me.
Yes, your voice clear.
Okay, great, because nobody is asking any question. Yes, Ahmed. So the other one is about fine-tuning the model. You can use that approach as well to create chatbot. And there is also other framework. Instead of using LangChain, you can use Llama Index, which is also a framework to create LLM applications. Asma has asked one question: how is embedding different from tokenization? So tokenization is about we are splitting that text into small tokens, and in embeddings, what we are doing is we are creating numbers. And in embeddings, there is also one concept of tokenization also has that, but the difference is that in embeddings, what we do is we create embeddings based on semantic search. That is, all the texts that are converted to number are based on some semantic criteria. So example could be apple is a fruit is one sentence, orange is a fruit is one sentence, and they are same. The sentence, if you see, both of them are fruit, just the name of the fruit is different, that is apple and orange. So they are semantically same. But if I say apple is a fruit and Python is a programming language, they are totally different. Now the semantic is totally different. They are not even close to each other. So embedding is done based on this semantic search or similarity search. Thank you so much, Anonymous, who liked it and for the Jupyter Notebook. Is there ready apps to do that? Yes, there are ready apps, but then you will have to pay for those apps. And those apps are generally used by a large organization who purchase for their internal use, but for as an individual like you and me or any other who's a student or who's a working professional, we can create these LLM from this open source framework. Otherwise, there are many ready made available apps, but they are paid ones. Please feel free to write your questions. And if you want to learn this LangChain and Llama Index from scratch, you can check my YouTube channel. I have around 28 videos on LangChain from right from scratch, where you can learn at your own pace. Maybe watching one video today, the next other a day, and so on. So you can learn, and there you will know how to create these free API keys from Hugging Face and use it. So you can check all the videos on my YouTube channel, and it will be very easy for you. And if you have any questions, you can also connect with me on LinkedIn. You can message me and ask me any doubts. So I think there is one more question. May we take an access to the notebook, please? Yeah, the notebook is already shared by our host. You should have access to this notebook. Okay, Anonymous, I'm not a technician and would like to help in building a Q&A chatbot to upload some policies and procedure to be a reference for the team questions regarding the work procedures and the issues that facing them in day-to-day operations. What is the best way to do that and same time keep the privacy of the data? Yes, so make sure that you create this LLM in your internal survey and you block the access from any external source so that only your internal employees can use that application. You can use the steps that I have mentioned here. You can use this similar step to put your own data set and create a chatbot that will help your employees to know about the policies and procedures. Just make sure that nobody else has the access to that model outside your organization. Just block the IPs from any external source. Yeah, so as I've said that not just from the web page. So what you have to do here is if you want to use from PDF file, you have to make only one change here. You don't have to make any change. Just here, instead of web-based loader, there is something called PDF loader, text loader. And instead of passing this website, just pass the location of your PDF file. And rest, all the steps will remain same as it is. No change at all. Just you have to make change here in this one line only, not even two lines, just one line. This function will also be same. This is just we are printing it. You have to just make change here. Instead of passing this web page, you pass your PDF file, text file, PPT, or anything. No change at all. I hope that answers your questions, Ahmad. Anyone else has any question? Or if no one has any question, maybe we can wrap up this session. Yeah, so my YouTube channel name is StatsWire. It is also there in the PPT on the first page itself. You will see my link to the YouTube channel. this notebook is also shared in this chat. So if you open this chat, you will see the notebook here. My YouTube channel name is Stats Wire. You can search on Google. Okay, I have to change this to everyone. Stats Wire. You can check the chat to get the YouTube channel name. We can't find it. And host has also emailed you. So if you check your email, there is an attachment with the tutorial link. You will see the PPT and also the notebook. Yes, host, please send these materials to this email ID shared by our participant. And now I would like to conclude here. It was really nice to talk to all of you, and I really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to the next year for DSC MENA. So can we end this session, host? Not about production. Maybe you can follow the same steps to deploy it in prod. Okay, so I would like to conclude here. Thank you, Ahmed, and hope to see you again next year. Thank you, everyone, and thank you, host, for this beautiful tutorial.
Thank you, Amir. It was very interesting.
Thank you so much. Have a nice day, and bye, all of you.
Bye-bye. And thank you, everyone, for attending the tutorial. We will have a short break now and see you back here at 3:45. Thank you, Amir.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.